Welcome to all Caribbean entrepreneurs. If you've been ready and waiting to take your business digital and get paid online while you sip something strong on the beach, this podcast is for you. We'll hear from the Caribbean's finest entrepreneurs on topics like e-commerce, business development, brand building, social media, their wins and failures. This is the only place in the region helping you navigate the digital age from the Caribbean's perspective. This is Digipreneur FM. And now, let's give it up for the Digiboss himself, Mr. Karan Rose.
Thank you to everybody tuning in to another episode of the Digipreneur FM podcast. As usual, it is your boy, Mr. Rose. DJ, fade us all the way out. DJ, fade us all the way out. June 22nd. Wednesday. Happy hump day, folks. Happy hump day. But guess what? It is episode number 80. 80. Woohoo! Where's Bounty? Can we get a episode number 80? But guess what? I got one up. I got one more for you guys. We officially hit 1 year of the Digipreneur FM podcast. We officially hit 1 year of the Digipreneur FM podcast. Digipreneur FM turned 1 on June 20th. Wow. Listen to me. That came up in my stories, and I was like, no way has it been 1 year since we started this journey with you guys. We're together, I should say. 1 year. So listen, if you have been listening to the Digipreneur FM podcast since last year from episode number 1, I just want to say thank you for the continued support. I really can't believe it's been a year. And if you are new to the Digipreneur FM podcast, welcome to the family. We have a lot of fun. Our goals here is really just to learn, grow together, have some amazing discussions, and provide you with tips, strategies, and stories from other entrepreneurs that are ultimately, aimed at helping you in your journey. Whew! 1 year. Listen, round of applause, man. Round of applause. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Again, the support over the last year has been amazing. I've met so many amazing folks because of the podcast. The messages that come in, from you guys and wonderful ladies, has really, it's inspiring. I mean, I'm not one to really get inspired. I tend to. I'm somebody who is, self-inspired. I just do my thing. I have fun. I do my thing, and I just do my thing, right? But I don't really get inspired by outside sources. I'm very self-motivated like that, thankfully, all right? So I don't got to go looking for motivation. But, when I see the types of messages that come in, when I see the notes that people take, the messages where people are like, yo, this helped them get out of a tough time, or it helped them in their business and help their business able to do this and that. It's hard not to get inspired. It's hard not to add that as motivation to keep going and to keep doing this here thing. And, and just learning how to grow it, So thank you. I just want to get that out the way and say thank you. You guys are much, much appreciated. And again, it's just amazing to be going on this journey with you, because believe you me, it is a journey for me as well. I mean, even though I'm coming on here and I'm teaching, or I'm educating, or I'm bringing other people in to, share their stories or share their strategies, it's a journey and it's a learning experience for me too. Everything that I talk about, I'm going through, right? Or I have gone through, and I'm just sharing. I'm just sharing my stories. I'm just sharing my perspective, and people are going to take with it what they need and what they will. So, what do we got for episode number 80? Now, I was going to do this episode. I know last episode I said I had something planned and I was going to do it for my next episode. And then guess what? I started a conversation online yesterday. And that just snowballed into something else. And that conversation was around over the weekend. When did this day? June 19th. June 19th was a Sunday. So Sunday, I wake up and I read the Daily Express, and it's talking about unemployment and the brain drain. And while I'm reading it, I'm going through it, and I'm hearing some of the stories that are happening with younger folks in the job market. But it's not just the younger folks; it's people in the 30s and 40s experiencing the exact same thing. The only difference is, the older folks are working already. And a lot of them are looking for a career change, or a lot of them just never got into their careers. And again, we'll get into it. But I'm reading the article, and it's talking about the unemployment and the brain drain. And as I'm reading it, I just kept on thinking to myself, people haven't updated their knowledge on business. Like, they don't understand how business works. And while I don't expect, an 18-year-old to expect how the business world is, again, the adults are no better. The adults are complaining about the exact same things that the younger folks are complaining about in the job market. All right. And I just kept on reading, and I'm like, people haven't even upgraded their knowledge on how to job hunt in 2022. And I started this conversation online. I did a couple of videos talking about some of the new skills that people should be learning right now. A second video on breaking down that article and talking about how people haven't upgraded their knowledge on how to job hunt in 2022, and they're still job hunting like it's 2009 or the year 2000, real old school tactics. And then an article. And then after I read that and whatnot, put the video out, another article comes out yesterday, and it's talking about TNT businesses. Should they put the job salaries in the descriptions? And while I'm reading that, in the article, they're talking about how, listen, we're going to get into it, right? I just wanted to give some context. So after reading these two articles, I said to myself, you know what? I started writing a blog yesterday to touch on it, but you know what? We got to do a podcast. I got to talk to y'all about this one, right? So let's go through it. Today's episode, we're going to be talking about the job market in Trinidad and Tobago, and a lot of the things that we speak about are going to be things that are happening in other Caribbean islands as well. I know a lot of Jamaicans hit me up and said, it's the same thing in here. I had people from Curacao hit me up and said, it's the same thing happening here. And to be quite honest, some of the things that are happening is or was happening to us back in Toronto some years ago, right? So, we've kind of evolved we've learned from some of these issues in Toronto. It's still happening. But some of the things we have moved on from and learned how to be a bit better at, right? So we're going to be talking about the job market. We're going to be talking about how to job hunt, and we're going to be talking about some of the problems that we are facing in the job market. And boy, oh boy, I just seen this title of should TNT businesses put the salary and job descriptions. We're going to touch on that. All right. So first things first, let's just go over the first article I read talking about unemployment and the brain drain in. This was on Sunday. This is from the Daily Express. And there was a couple of things that bothered me, right? So the article, I'm not going to go through the entire thing, but the article is going through, the writer of the article interviews a couple of young students who are fresh out of college, and they have their degrees, or some of them have their masters. and they're trying to get jobs and they haven't been successful. And the jobs that they have got are not in their field, and it's severely underpaying them. One of them even migrated to Japan to get something in their field, which is good, right? I mean, at the end of the day, the world is your oyster. And if you have skills and you're able to go to other markets, I encourage everybody, travel. I remember when I first came to Trinidad, people were telling me, hey, why would you come back to Trinidad? We're trying to go to Canada. What's Canada like? Should I move? I want to move. Should I move? And in the beginning, I used to be telling everybody, no, stay here. There's opportunities in the Caribbean, da, 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 da. And then, my tune changed because I think one of the biggest problems I realized in Trinidad is that the reason why we have so many problems is that Trinidad and Trinbagonians don't have perspective. They don't have perspective of how other things are in the real world. When they say Trinidad is not a real place, I understand that today. Because the things that happen in Trinidad could never happen anywhere else. All right? Not saying anywhere else is perfect, but there are issues that we are facing that other countries have passed 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago. And we are facing it today in present time. All right? So I believe a big part of that is just because Trinis don't have perspective. And when they go outside and they go live in America, they live in Canada, they live in the UK, a lot of the things that they get away with in Trinidad, they could never get away with over there, right? So now I just tell everybody, go travel. Go travel, go live, go work elsewhere. And again, you'll get that perspective and you could appreciate or you could start to see the differences between the two countries. And then you'll find ways to appreciate Trinidad and you'll find ways to appreciate, where you were at, right? So, that being said, all right, this is what started to bother me, all right? The article is talking about people who graduated with their degrees, their masters, can't get jobs. And I think one of the biggest problems is that people in general, this is not limited to 18-year-olds, right? This is not limited to 17-year-olds. This is happening to people in their mid-20s, their 30s, and up. People, listen, it's the same complaint right from the young to the old. People are saying they have graduated with their degrees, their masters in fields, and cannot find jobs. And going through the article, the first question I had was, are you even researching the job market prior to taking these degrees? Because in the article, they talk about how UE is graduating doctors, lawyers, engineers by the hundreds every single year, and none of these people cannot find jobs in the country. We are in a market like Trinidad and Tobago with a population of 1.5 million people. How many doctors do we need? How many lawyers do we need? How many engineers do we need in such a small market? And if you want to pursue those fields, great. But what is your differentiating factor from everybody else? Are you specializing? Most are not. Most are not specializing. And then I say that, and there's going to be somebody that says, yeah, but in order to specialize, the schools have to offer, the courses. Yes, and that's a two-pronged problem. One, I don't believe that the majority of universities in the Caribbean are researching to see what new courses they need to bring in, where the rest of the world is at, what new things we need to bring in to help y'all. I agree. But then at the same time, shouldn't you know that before you take your master's or take your degrees in some of these things? If you know that the market is saturated and that you are going to have to specialize, you should be mapping out where you are going to get these specializations from. There are people, when I made the post yesterday, there are some people in the comments saying, oh, you can't blame the student, you can't blame. Yes, I can. There's no personal responsibility in the country. There's no personal responsibility in the country. So yes, I'm going to blame you. It is my choice to do anything. It is my choice to do what I'm doing. It's my choice to create this podcast. It's my choice to be in digital business, marketing. It's my choice. All right? It's my choice. So there has to be some personal responsibility. And I know there are going to be people that said, yeah, but there are kids who parents force them. That's another conversation. But the reality is that there are still grown folks who are going down this road. They're not doing their research into the job market. They're not willing to do any of the things needed to separate themselves from the market so that they become attractive to an employer, or they're not willing to start their own business and specialize and again, stand out from the crowd. All right? So if you're not researching to see what specializations are you going to need if you want to stand out, and then if the country that you are in is not offering the specializations, where can I get it? Am I going to have to travel to get it? Do I need to go to another country? Can I do it online? Is the specialization I want, is it not feasible to go and get? These are things you need to be thinking about before you do the degree. And the entire article just screams of people not doing their homework. So you get the degree, and people in 2022, it's still amazing to me. People still think that getting a degree or a master's is an automatic rite of passage to a job. It's not. That's 20% of the battle, unfortunately. And people in 2022, it amazes me that people are still this naive in 2022. And again, we're not speaking about the 18-year-olds. We are speaking about everybody, because even the people in their 30s and 40s are complaining about the exact same things. And then the parents of the 18-year-olds, what are y'all doing? Are you not guiding? Are you guys not keeping your eyes open and telling your kids the reality of the situation? Hey, just because you have a degree doesn't mean you're going to get the job. That's just one part of the battle. That's the beginning. So we have a lot of people that are going to school, getting degrees in irrelevant industries that are outdated. They're taking degrees that are outdated. People are not jumping on Google and doing a quick Google search to say, hey, what are some in-demand skills? What are some skills that are needed today? What are some high-income skills needed today? What are some industries that are new and relevant today? And then charting a course to go out and get the degrees, the certifications, the skills in those industries. And what bothers me about these types of articles that continuously highlight, the bad, there's no balance. You're not speaking about the people who are doing amazing in these times and what they are doing. Because for me personally, all of the people that I am good with, that I speak to on a regular basis, everybody's doing amazing. And amazing doesn't need to be that they're rich. Amazing is also they've found their footing in their industry. And they're building on the momentum that they have been getting. And they are generating opportunities for themselves, some amazing opportunities. And every time I have conversations with the people around me, I'm like, God damn, you're doing it. Just as how the people around me every single day, every other day, messaging me or calling me and saying, yo, Rose, congrats, you are doing it. You're doing the damn thing. And that's because we have found industries that are needed and relevant today. And they're not limiting us to just one country. The skills, the businesses that we are building, or the jobs that we are getting are opening us up to the global market. And my goal with all of my content and my workshops and whatnot is to bridge that gap and help Caribbean people see that we could participate in the global economy. So when I'm reading these articles and people are talking about like just scrolling back through the article, right? Here's something. In the article, for the brain drain article, the writer says something like, on June 14, 2019, there were a total of 234 jobs that included account clerks, warehouse workers, security officers, teachers, engineers, housekeepers, cooks, computer technicians, dental assistants, cashiers, bartenders, drivers, and salespersons. On June 15, 2019, there were a total of 233 jobs within the same range on that same date in 2022. There were 83 fewer jobs. On June 15, 2022, there were 99 fewer available jobs than on June 15, 2019. So here's the problem with that. They were looking at the numbers from, they said it, the numbers that they got those jobs from are from the classifieds in the Express, right? So the articles on the Express, they're looking at their own classifieds and talking about jobs. There are fewer and fewer job postings. And that to me says it all right there. Like, for one problem is the job market has evolved. We are job hunting on job boards. We are using LinkedIn, which is by far the number one platform that is for job hunters and HR and HR. LinkedIn is the number one platform for recruitment. So if LinkedIn is growing at lightning speed and the jobs are being posted to LinkedIn and the recruiting and everything is happening because of all the tools that LinkedIn has built in, then of course there are going to be fewer and fewer and fewer jobs posted in the classifieds. And then they're speaking about, look at the jobs they're speaking about: warehouse workers, clerks, security officers, dental assistants, cashiers, drivers. No disrespect, but look at the jobs you're speaking about. Right? Look at the jobs you're speaking about. A lot of these jobs are being replaced by technology as well, or automation, or the jobs, and the jobs are also migrating out of the classifieds. They are going to job boards because the job boards have better tools for human resources. It helps the HR reps to get the candidates from job boards and on LinkedIn. So naturally, the classifieds are going to see a decrease in jobs. But that is by no stretch, meaning that there are fewer and fewer jobs. You can't use the classifieds in the newspapers. So again, remember I said from the beginning, reading the article, I kept shaking my head because I'm like, yo, the way y'all are preaching about outdated tactics. And then look where you're getting data from. Your classifieds. I can't tell you the last time I've read the classifieds. The classifieds, for jobs. I forget that classifieds even have jobs. When I think of classifieds, I think of, buying secondhand goods. like going and, looking for a car or looking for a rental, I think of that. And I don't even go to the classifieds for that. Because again, like I said, if I'm thinking about used goods, used cars, used appliances and stuff like that, I'm going to Facebook Marketplace. I'm going to, any of the online platforms where you can list your stuff, like the Craigslist, the Pin.tts, that type of thing. I'm not even thinking about the classifieds in the newspapers for those things. But when you say newspaper classifieds, my first thing is, used cars, used stuff, jobs. In 2022, didn't even realize that posting jobs in the classifieds was still a thing, because the real jobs are not being posted in the classifieds. The real jobs The jobs that are going to get you paid are not there. They are on LinkedIn. They're even in the job boards. They're on company websites. Right? So again, outdated. And then if you're job hunting, right? If you're job hunting, and I said this in my social media posts, people are going to the job boards, LinkedIn, to apply for jobs, right? And one key thing that I know the most people in Trinidad and Tobago aren't doing is they don't even realize that, when they're creating their resumes, most people are still creating their resumes in Microsoft Word. They're going to Canva and they're creating their resumes. And people haven't realized that has changed. If you are creating a resume today, right? The only time you're going to create a resume in Microsoft Word or Canva and use it is if you are going to send that to a recruiter directly. Like if somebody asks you, hey, send me your resume, here's my emails, and you got to send it in, and you have to send it to them directly, yes, you send it to them. However, human resources have a tool or a system that is called the Applicant Tracking System. Short form, ATS. And it is a type of resume scanning software used by recruiters and employers during the hiring process to collect resumes, sort them out, scan them, and rank the job applications they receive for their positions. Why does that matter? It matters because your Microsoft Word resumes, your Canva resumes are not ATS compliant for their software. Yes, your Canva resumes, your Microsoft Word resumes you are creating are not compliant for the HR software they are using to track, collect, sort, scan, and rank the job applicants. So you need to have, and I need you guys to Google this who are in the job market. I need you to Google ATS friendly resumes. And look and research ATS resumes. So when you are hiring somebody to make a resume for you, you need to specifically ask them to create an ATS resume compliant, or ATS compliant resume. Or go on YouTube and learn all about it and learn how to make your resumes ATS compliant. So if you are not keeping up with the latest job hunting strategies and tactics, it is no wonder you are not getting jobs. If you're not looking in the right place for the jobs and you're still looking in the classifieds, if you do not know in 2022 that you need an ATS resume compliant if you're going to be applying for jobs so that you can actually appear on recruiters' systems, you're going to struggle. And that's adding to the fact that you are taking degrees in oversaturated industries and not doing the bare minimum to set yourself apart from the rest of the candidates. And then we jump on the media and we say, woe is me, brain drain, unemployment. I'm not saying that doesn't happen. I am saying that there are reasons for it and there are things that we can do, so that is not our story. Because like I said, yes, I know, the people that I know or the people that I talk to, is still a drop in the bucket. But the point is that everybody I know is doing well. And they're doing well because everything they are doing is in demand. And even the people who are entering, saturated markets are still doing things to set themselves apart. So they're not affected by the saturation. And then when we have conversations around building your personal brand, these are the same people that say, no, I don't want to do that for a wide variety of reasons. I don't want to build a personal brand. I don't want to put myself out there. Yeah, but guess what? Okay, fine. You don't have to put yourself out there. But your competitors are. Your competitors in the business space are putting themselves out there. Your competitors in the employee space are putting themselves out there. And because they are putting themselves out there, they're getting noticed and they're getting the job. But then you can't jump on the media and complain about lack of employment. When you start to go down the line of the things you need to do to get a job, you did step one. You got the degree. Okay, cool. You did step one. Now we got to do these other 10 things. And you're not doing it. And that is where I put the blame on the people. Because even when you get the degree, there are things you need to do. This is 2022. This is not the year 1999, the year 2000. All right? Looking at this article again. Where is it? Oh, boy. They had pulled a quote. They had interviewed Kevin Ramnarine. Right? Kevin Ramnarine was a former Minister of Energy and Affairs. And he's there talking about the underemployment as well. And he makes a comment, and he's like how, university is graduating professionals, doctors, lawyers, engineers. We keep churning them out every single year, but they have nowhere to go, right? And again, it just goes to the fact that people have to really research these industries before they get into them. All right. Anyways, I'm done with this article. Let me move to the article from Loop Caribbean talking about should TNT businesses put the salary in the job descriptions. Yeah, you read that right. The headline is, should TNT businesses put the salary in the job descriptions? Now, I start to read this article and I start to laugh because the article starts off with, this is the Loop article. With many people looking for jobs, there has been significant discourse online about job postings. Conversations on Twitter and TikTok have been analyzing the responsibilities listed for jobs, the interview process, and the salaries for specific jobs. The latter taking up a particular conversation online due to many companies in Trinidad and Tobago not stating the salary expected for the positions they are advertising. All right? Making many wonder what the standard practice is for jobs posting locally. Now, first of all, Loop, tell me you are referencing Karen Rose without referencing Karen Rose. I read the opening paragraph and I laughed because I'm like, y'all should have just damn well said, we have been following Karen Rose and the discussions he has been putting out on TikTok and Twitter. Oh boy, that's funny because I'm the only one doing it. Right? I'm the only one analyzing the job postings and whatnot. Y'all should have just said my name. But anyways, shout outs to Loop. So then they get into the question of, should the salaries be posted in the job descriptions? So they go out and they interview the owner of Regency Recruitment, Laura Quentrell Thomas. And listen to me, man. My head just hurts, man, because it's like the basics for what we should be doing in Trinidad. We have a problem with just the basics. We have a problem with the basics. We have a problem with common sense. We have the problem with just doing the right thing. And then we complain that we don't get good results. This is what is crazy to me. So they interview Laura, Jesus Christ, and she's the owner of Regency. Laura, she says, unless you are posting a vacancy that is governed by collective agreement, it is up to the individual employer if they wish to post the salary. Listen, nobody is disputing that, right? We know they don't have to post. We know that they don't have to post the salary. We know they don't have to post it, right? She then goes on to say that according to Quentrell Thomas, the salary is negotiable in many cases, and the businesses prefer not to post it to ensure they do not deter interested applicants. Some businesses maneuver this by listing the salary range. However, many prefer opt out entirely. Now, we know in Trinidad, 99.9% of businesses do not list a salary range. Nope, they prefer to waste your time in person. And many of them want you to waste your time bringing you to second and third interviews before the conversation of salary is even brought up. You don't even have a clue what the salary is or what the salary range is. All right. Now, here's where I have a problem with Laura. Laura, you are the owner of a recruitment agency in Trinidad, one of the bigger ones. All right. And she thinks, going back to the article, she thinks it's good practice because it gives the job seeker a chance to make an informed decision about whether to apply or not. However, she doesn't see it as a singular benefit to the person applying. She continues, it can also help the employer as they then can review applications of those who are willing to work at that salary level. Her advice for applicants, this is where I had the problem, right? Her advice for applicants who get an interview for a job posting that did not list the salary is to not ask the salary in the first interview. She quotes, if you are shortlisted, you can discuss compensation in the second or final interviews. She emphasized the need to learn industry standards, saying applicants should research what salary levels are like for the particular job so they have an understanding of what is equitable. Now, that's the problem I have with her quote. The problem that I have is if nobody is listing salary ranges, right? Nobody's listing salary ranges. Very few are listing not even salary ranges, you know. We're not even talking about the actual salary. We know the salaries are all negotiable within reason, but the majority of businesses are not posting a salary range to begin with. So you're going into interviews and applying blind, right? The problem I have is you're asking people to do research, but if nobody's listing the salary ranges, where are we getting the research from? And we cannot use the salary ranges for the US and Canada and the UK as a metric. Because guess what? When you go to these job interviews and you're like, yo, well, in the US, they're paying $40,000 a year. They're looking at you crazy. They're like, yeah, that's the US. This is not Trinidad. This is not Curacao. This is not Jamaica. That's the US. We're not paying that. Right? So nobody's listing the salary ranges. Heck, I've even seen positions, and I know the person who has posted the jobs in the companies, and I'd message them and be like, yo, what's the salary range for that thing? Because, you know, I might know some people who are interested. And they're like, I'm not too sure, or, you know, they would need to apply before we disclose that. Like, it's secrecy. Y'all are hell-bent on wasting people's time. Hell-bent. So my problem with Laura is you as the recruitment agency, you should be leading the research. You should be, one, leading the research and putting out content, informing people, hey, did you know that civil engineers right now are making anywhere between X amount of money to that amount of money? Did you know that dentists are making between X amount of money in the low end and X amount of money? You're not leading the way in research. You should be putting out the research. You want people to do the research on jobs? Cool. You should be collecting the data and putting out the research. That would also help position people to come to you. That would position you as leader in the recruitment space. People would be building more trust with you and coming to you. And they're coming to your platforms to learn about the world of work. You should be doing the research and putting it out. So when you do the research, you put it out. You should be the one guiding the conversation as to what is acceptable and what is not. And then you should be leading the charge with the rest of the recruitment agencies and the job boards saying, hey, y'all, if you believe, now here's my challenge to Laura. Laura, if you believe that businesses should post a salary range, then put your foot down and say, yo, we're not doing no headhunting. We're not posting no jobs without a salary range. Y'all need to come together and make it mandatory. Make the salary range mandatory, or else no company can post on your platform. That's all that needs to happen. Because if the companies are coming to y'all, then make it mandatory that they post a salary range. Because y'all are wasting people's time. You have people calling in sick from work. Y'all have people, traveling all over the country, coming to the second or your recommendation is don't ask about salary to second or third interview. The hell? No, hell no. I'm not doing that. The last job I applied for on shits and giggles just to get the salary range was Excellent Stores. Excellent Stores, when they listed their 10 job roles in one, I was like, man, I want to know what the salary is. And I applied, I got the call. And on the call, guess what? We doing the phone interview, and she did not give me she did not want to give me the salary range. And I had to get it out of her. Like, yo, I need to know the salary range because y'all are asking for a lot. And I would save you guys time if I knew the salary range, because you didn't post it. If I knew the salary range, then I would know to not waste your time. And she's like, well, what's your salary expectation? I'm like, well, for this role, with the amount of things that I have that is required of the person, plus you have to be available 24/7, my salary range is $25,000 because it was an e-commerce specialist and a bunch of other things. And she's like, ooh, yeah, this wouldn't be a fit for you. So I'm like, humor me. She's like, go down. I'm like, 15. She's like, go down. I'm like, 10. She's like, the salary, it would be more in line between 5 to 8.5. And I was like, thank you. Goodbye. Because don't call me. Don't call me. Now, just imagine if y'all listed all of those all those things, responsibilities in the job role, and you guys posted the salary range 5 to 8.5. Guess what? Qualified people know not to even blink at that and hit apply. But you guys know what you're doing. You in Trinidad, in the article, they talk about how it's an employer's market, right? The pandemic has, created, less and less jobs. And now employers are able to pick and choose who they want. So right now they're exploiting everybody. They're packing a wide variety of roles into one and paying you peanuts. And they don't want to list the salaries because they know that they're engaging in exploitation. They know that. They know that. When Excellent Stores told me 5 to 8.5 for that madness, I just laughed. I'm like, y'all had to be crazy. I'm like, and obviously, y'all don't care because you guys know that once you guys hire somebody for this role, you guys know that 3 to 6 months you're going to be reposting because the person's going to quit. And so said, so done. That same job that I seen last year has been posted about 3 to 4 times since I had applied last year and got the information. Every 3 months since I initially seen that job just keeps on coming back around, coming back around, coming back around. And so who's to blame in all of this? To me, the schools are to blame, the job boards are to blame, the recruitment agencies are all to blame. Because all three of them should be coming together to properly guide the world of work. They should be guiding everybody, right? Again, this is not limited. This is not limited to young people. Because y'all old folks, y'all people in your 30s, 40s, and 50s are complaining about the same thing. Getting degrees, getting masters, and no jobs for you. All right. So the recruitment agencies, the job boards, the Caribbean Jobs of the world, the universities should all be coming together. Y'all should all be doing your research to see, what new industries are popping, what new industries should be, happening here. And, hey, the industries you guys are researching, y'all should be talking about the skills required, the certifications you need, the degrees that you guys would need. Y'all should be posting things like or doing research on the salary ranges for these roles and putting these things out. The reality is that you guys are the key stakeholders. The schools, the job boards, the recruitment agencies. All of y'all need to be coming together to streamline y'all processes. And if you guys work together, did the research on new industries, new skill sets, salary ranges, best practices, what should be going into a resume? Because none of y'all are talking about ATS resumes, right? Or resume formats. What should be going into a job spec? Because y'all companies are wilding out here, creating ludicrous job specs. And no recruitment agency, no school, no job board, none of y'all are even having these conversations and saying, hey, excellent stores, your job spec is madness. It's ludicrous. It's doo-doo. Redo it. Or up the salary. Or take out some stuff. Y'all are not even having those conversations. Y'all are just taking their money, posting the job, and then, capturing slaves for them. That's as fun. That's how I feel. I feel y'all are just capturing slaves for these companies. Capturing desperate slaves for these companies. That's how I feel. That's how I feel. That's how I feel. Might sound extreme, maybe, but that's how I feel. I feel like y'all job boards, y'all recruitment agencies are just out headhunting to capture slaves for these companies. Come and work in the coal mines for peanuts and exhort yourself. And we're not going to help you with therapy after. You're not going to have to handle that on your own. And then we wonder why collectively as a society we're not productive. Nothing about the process, from the schooling to the job hunting to the jobs itself, are built for efficiency. Nothing is built for a happy and efficient society. Nothing. The schools are not doing the research to offer the needed skills today. If people cannot go and learn in-demand skills from the schools, then what do you expect? What do you expect? Not everybody's going to jump on Google. As people in the comments are telling me, you expect people to go on Google and go online and learn skills? No, we don't want to do that. All right, cool. So the schools, I know saying that, I know many of my digipreneur families is like, what? There are people out here who are arguing about going on Google and learning about what skills they need. Yes, folks. Yes, there are people in the comments of my videos talking about they should not have to go on Google and do research to figure out what skills they need to get jobs. They should just be able to go to school and the schools offer them what they need for success. Listen, again, personal accountability. Let's just pass the buck. Y'all don't want to be responsible, but then guess what? Every other day we got to read about why you're struggling. And the media is happy to print that garbage. The media is happy to print that garbage. They're happy to print that. They're happy to report that garbage. It's harder for them to report about the shit that's actually working. Because even then, they need to learn about the new stuff to have a proper conversation. Funny enough, right? As I say that, one of the reasons why over the years I've been able to get interviews and meetings with a lot of these different companies that, are doing new things that are helping us, go digital, be online, is because they're like, when we go and we speak to reporters in the media, when we go on, the breakfast shows, the 7:00 news, when we go on these platforms, the people there are just not educated enough to have a conversation about the new things that we are doing. They're not. So we don't get to have a level of conversation that we want to have. We don't get to speak to people who appreciate the significance of what we are doing. And that's the reason why I've gotten a lot of interviews and a lot of meetings for my platforms. And why people and companies have wanted to come on my shows to have these conversations. All right? So the media themselves needs to upskill enough to have an idea or an understanding as to what is happening in today's world, so that they can foster and have these good conversations to help elevate the masses. And that's the main reason why I was like, yo, I need to get into traditional media. I need to get into the papers. That's why I write for the papers now. I write for Newsday. That's why I went and worked on getting the radio station, getting the radio show with one of our largest media houses. All of these things was because I knew for myself I needed to get into traditional media. All right? So the schools, the recruitment agencies, the job boards, they are failing everybody. They are failing everybody. They are failing society as a whole because nobody is doing any research. Nobody is trying to help guide the next generation. And even the people who are trying to make a pivot, the information isn't there. The information isn't there. I went to a career day the other day, and there was 10 stations. I was one of them, all right? All 9 of those stations were traditional jobs. The Army, the Air Guard, sanitation, police, prison guards. They brought me now. I'll give them credit. They had me there because they were like, "Yo, we need to bring somebody in who is doing something out of the box and new to offset all the traditional platforms, right?" So at the end of that career day, when I was talking to, because there was like 13 or 14 groups that we spoke to throughout the entire day, right? And they just rotated the groups. By the 13th and 14th group, that came down to the last for me, I'd ask them, yo, how are you guys feeling all of the other jobs that you guys seen? And listen to me, parents and students were like, man, listen, the only thing this career day did was solidify that I never want my kids. And the kids were like, I don't ever want to be a police officer. I don't ever want to be a prison guard. And parents are like, yo, we are not trying to have our kids be in any of these things. And the amount of follow-ups I got from parents emailing and messaging me asking about how to get into a lot of the things that I've been talking about. And I've been sending resources and courses and things like that. Because even if you want to be a chef, even if you want to be a graphic designer, like you still have to learn how to build, how to do marketing, how to do digital marketing, how to do e-commerce, and what are the opportunities that these things can bring. You still got to learn how to do all of that. Because it's 2022. I learned all of my skills not to come out and teach it. I learned all of my skills because as a tech blogger, I was into tech and review and talking about technology to help people. And then when I started to sell the smartphones on my website, I had to learn all these skills to sell online. And then it just got to the point where more people started to ask me about how I was building the business, how I was doing e-commerce, how I was doing marketing, where eventually I was like, yo, I actually like teaching that stuff. And I shifted from talking about, smartphones and that type of stuff to actually doing this, what I'm doing now. And I made that shift for myself. So the world of work has changed. The world of business has changed. My biggest takeaway from reading the 2 articles was that people are still running after outdated degrees in outdated industries. But then, even if you have your degrees in these other industries, in these outdated industries, right? Job hunting has changed in 2022. And I need more people. If you are listening to this now, again, the majority of the people that listen to the podcast are entrepreneurs or they're business owners, but a lot of you guys are still, part-time business owners or looking to start your own business, but have a full-time job, no problem. Job hunting in 2022 has changed. Jump on Google right now and type in job hunting tips in 2022 and see if you're doing any of those things. See if you're doing any of the things that they are talking about. Most people are not, and then complaining that there's no job opportunities. They have a degree, there's no opportunities, they're not getting hired. But you're not doing the things needed. You're not hunting on the platforms needed. You're not getting your resumes in the formats needed. You're not networking in the places. Listen, the crazy thing is, right? LinkedIn is the only platform in the world where you could directly contact the CEO. You can directly contact the hiring managers. Why on earth do you think I'm hunting for a job in the classifieds? If I want to work for a company, let me tell you something. If I want to work for a company, I'm jumping on LinkedIn. I'm typing in the company I want to work for. And I'm contacting everybody in a decision-making position. And making connections and learning how I could work with the company. I do that for business. And it's worked every single time. And even when I've gotten, even the amount of job offers I get now. So now I get way more job offers today because I create content and I'm educating about marketing, e-commerce, online business, and those types of strategies. I get way more job offers today than I ever did when I was job hunting. And it just goes to show that job hunting has changed. Recruiters are looking for people who are showcasing their expertise. Who is talking about the things that we need in our industry? Oh, this person's constantly talking about it. Let me go and check them out. Oh, their body of work is there. Their qualifications are there. Hey, can we have a chat? Hey, we see you online. We've scoped you out. We like your work. We want to have a conversation about bringing you aboard. What's it going to cost? And just imagine, I don't even, listen, when companies reach out to me now, even for when they're trying to offer me jobs, the language they are saying is different when they reach out to me. Right? And this is in general. When they reach out to you, the language is different. So before, when you're applying for the job, right, they're going to ask you, what are your salary expectations? Oh, okay, well, no, that's not in line. This is what we are paying. This is it. Take it or leave it. But when they reach out to you, they say things like, what is it going to cost us to bring you aboard? And they find a way. They find a way because they see your value. They have hunted you. They want to bring you aboard. They bring you aboard. They want to sign you. And they're asking, what is it going to cost us to bring you aboard? And even if they come back 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, they come back saying, hey, we moved some things around. We have a package to entice you. We want to bring you aboard. Let's discuss. And they pitch to you. They're pitching to you. So, learn how to build a business. Learn how to job hunt in 2022. Learn how to make yourself employable. Learn how to stand out from the crowd. Learn how to job hunt. Learn what you need to successfully job hunt before you just jump out talking about we've applied everywhere. So has everybody else. You're in an oversaturated market. So has everybody else. Everybody else is doing the exact same thing as you. And then even if you are in an oversaturated market, look to see, is there opportunities for you to specialize? And then where would I have to go to learn the specializations? Do I need to move to another market? What are other markets I can go to? Some of y'all have taken gate in Trinidad and Tobago, and you can't leave until you give back the country your 5 years of service or you pay it back. And you're not going to pay it back, so you have to give your 5 years of service, but you can't get into the market to give back your 5 years of service. These are things you should have been thinking about before doing the degree. All of these are things you should be thinking about. All of them. All right? And while you're doing a degree, get on LinkedIn. Start searching for the companies you want to work for, making connections. Build relationships so that when you are ready to enter the world of work, you and the head of HR, you and the head of the department is on first name basis. You probably done job shadowed in the company already. They know you before you even finish a degree. And this is not just for young people. This is for folks in general. All right? So that's my takeaways, man. Everything has changed. The job market has changed. You have to change with it. All right? So we've hit the 1 hour mark, and once I hit the 1 hour mark, I kind of like to leave it there. Right? Should businesses post a salary in the job descriptions? Yes. Post a salary ranges in the job descriptions. Any business not putting the salary range, you guys are just engaging in exploitation. What are you trying to hide? All you're going to do is deter people from wanting to apply. That's all. And then when they do apply, you're getting people who get discouraged as soon as they hear the job description and feel like you just waste their time. Post the salary ranges. You're going to get the people who are informed and you know that they want to be here because they're willing to work for whatever that range is. All right. So that's it from me. That's the episode today. All right. Just wanted to talk about that. That's the episode for me today. So again, we're going to continue the conversation over on social media. So if you're not following on social media, what are you waiting for? Go jump on Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, TikTok. Search for Karen Rose. Go follow me over there. Let's have the conversations over there. Because listen, we need to continue to have these conversations publicly so that change can happen. All right? We need to really have these conversations publicly. So follow me over there. Don't forget to check out the KarenRose.com website to learn more about building your digital profile and monetizing your platforms. Check out the Digipreneur.fm website to stay up to date on all things happening with the podcast. Don't forget, every single Thursday inside the TT Newsday, we have the Digipreneur column, where we talk about a wide variety of things every single Thursday. That is available in the TT Newsday in print and both online on their website. And then don't forget the Digital World Radio Show on Freedom 106.5 every single Friday from 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. Atlantic Standard Time. And if you're not in Trinidad but you want to listen to the conversation, you guys can go to the Freedom 106.5 website. Just go on Google, type in Freedom 106.5. You will see the link to the website, and you guys can actually watch the live stream and listen to the program. Every single week, we have insightful conversations. We are interviewing the experts in a variety of different things in building businesses and in the world of entrepreneurship and also in the world of work. And again, just trying to create these conversations and help the Caribbean grow. That's ultimately what we are here for. All right. So that is it from me today, folks. Happy Hump Day. Enjoy the rest of your week and take care.
You've been listening to the Digiboss, Karan Rose. We hope your notepad was filled after this episode. Make sure to like, rate, and review the show. The learning doesn't stop, folks. And to make sure you don't miss any gems from the Digiboss, go over and follow him on all social media platforms at Karan Rose. Folks, don't just sit there with a notepad. We need you to implement at least one thing into your business before the next episode. That's the only way your business levels up. Thanks for listening to Digipreneur FM. Now go be great.